Okay, hi guys. Good evening. Hi Carl. Hi Zihan. Welcome back to our February week 3. Okay, this is the third week of February. I'm looking a little bit dark, isn't it? Hang on, let me adjust my brightness a little. Okay, better. Now you can see me. Right. So this is our third week. Don't have lost. Why maths got me? Maths got ah. How many was maths? Oh, eight ah. Okay, no wonder. I don't know science it's like I don't know. It's been some classes lah. Some class I do have a lot, but some I don't know. Maybe it's still holiday lah because I are you guys having holiday right now? Not really, right? Because some of my students they're having holiday, so they say they'll be back next month. Okay, I will. So let's continue with our heart, shall we? Okay, let's continue with our heart. So last week we did mention this. I did ask you to draw this heart, right? Remember? So you already know this now. Oh, let me erase this. Okay, Carl, this was for you last week. Okay, anyway, I think we did this. Your upper rooms are called atrium. Okay, remember the arrow pointing up, and the lower rooms are called ventricle, the arrow pointing down. And you have your right side and your left side, and they are in reverse. This diagram is a mirrored diagram. All right, so you have your right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, and left ventricle. Okay, and then you have your four pipes. You have one pipe for each room. You have your vena cava. Remember, artery is to exit the heart. Okay, arrow pointing up, exit. And then vein is the arrow pointing down, which is going into the heart. So you have your vena cava. You have your pulmonary artery. Like I said, pulmonary is to go to your lungs. So it goes to your lungs and to get oxygen and then to come back as oxygenated. They look red. So this is your pulmonary vein. Okay, and then they will exit through the aorta. So this aorta will go to the body, will go to body cells. Let me draw an arrow here. So it will go to your body cells, and then it will come back to here to your vena cava. All right, so as you can see, there are two circles here. There are two circulations here. One circulation is to go to the lungs, okay? And then another circulation is to go to the body, right? So to go to the lungs, to go to the body, right? Like I said, this is like your Shopee delivery truck. One is to go and collect your parcel. One is to go deliver your parcel. So this makes one complete circulation. All right, one circulation, it goes to two places, to your lungs and then to your body. Okay, guys, I hope this makes sense. I hope this makes sense. So that will be your heart. So as you can see here, I think I think excuse me. I think we stopped here last week. So the right side of the heart receives the oxygenated blood. That means this side. The oxygenated means no oxygen. The blue part, which has no oxygen, blood without oxygen, from the body and pump it to the lungs to receive oxygen. So this is to go to the lungs. And then the left side of the heart receives oxygenated blood, okay, which is red color, from the lungs and pump it to all parts of the body to provide every cell with oxygen. So I pump to here to get oxygen. Right, so that's a two-cycle thing. Will suddenly jump without warning. You mean spasm? You mean spasm? Okay. That's a good question. Spasm, it could be due to random. Okay, it could happen randomly, or it could be due to overuse. It could be due to overuse. Okay, for example, if you don't run, if you're not a runner, okay, if you're not a runner, suddenly I ask you to go run marathon, right? I ask you to go run marathon, it's too much work for your muscle, and your muscle, when it's overworked, your muscle will start twitching, will start having spasm. Mostly that's the case lah. And if you have some nerve diseases, it will also give you muscle spasm, right? So something to do with your nerve lah. Mostly is to something to do with your nerve. Okay, so this is how your heart works. This is how your heart works. Guys, do memorize the 4 rooms and memorize the 4 pipes. Okay, I think my heart in square makes your understanding better, right? Because I don't like to draw it like this. This is, just a little bit too confusing. I like to draw it this way, right? Makes it clear. So this is what happened. Okay, this is what happened. So remember, this is your vena cava. Okay, this is your vena cava. Wait, this diagram looks a bit weird. Okay, but anyhow, so from your heart, it goes to your lungs to collect oxygen. Can you see? It was blue, and after passing through your lungs, it becomes red because I get oxygen here. And then the second cycle, I go to the body. Yeah, I go to the body. After passing through the body, I become blue again because I give oxygen. So like I said, one cycle is to get oxygen, one cycle is to deliver oxygen. Okay, so that's how your heart works. So when the atria relax, that means the top 2, okay, atrium is the 2 room, right? When the atria relax, the ventricles contract. The atria fill up with blood and the ventricles empty. Right. You see, guys, the top rooms and the bottom rooms they work in opposite. Okay, they work in opposite. When this atria relax, okay, was it relaxed just now? Yeah, relax. When the atria relax, they become bigger. The lower room will contract and become smaller. So your heart works like this. You see, it works like this. You see, they can't both contract together or both relax together. When my atria relax, my ventricle will contract. Okay, that means this becomes bigger to fill up with blood. These 2 rooms, they become smaller to pump blood out. So they do it in opposite. The top room will draw blood in, the lower room will push blood out, right? Only like that it makes sense. And then the second part, when the atria contract, the ventricle relax, this empties the atria and fills the ventricle with blood. So now my atrium will contract, they become smaller, and they will push the blood down, and the ventricle, they will relax to take in blood, right? That means this will push blood down. Okay, you get what I mean? So they work this way. They work this way. And they have valves. Remember these valves? You have your valves here, and you have your valves here. So these valves, like I said last week, was it mentioned here? Okay, valve is to prevent your blood from going backward. Okay, yeah, it's mentioned here. The valves prevent blood from flowing backward. Okay, please highlight this point. Please highlight this point. This point is very important. The valves will stop the blood from flowing backward because I need to make sure my blood will go in one direction. You see, one direction. My blood cannot just for no reason turn back. This is a huge disaster, right? Because blood, when they turn back, they will crash together. You will get a heart attack. Your blood will start to clot and you will get a heart attack, which is very bad news. Okay, so I hope this is clear. So this is how it works lah. So you see, this atrium will relax. So this two part will be filled with blood, and then the ventricle will contract and you will push the blood out. Can you see these arrows? You will push the blood out, and then now the next one will happen. This will contract, and the blood will be pushed down here. So you see, you look at the valve. You look at the valve. When this ventricle push this blood out, can you see these 2 valves, they close? Can you see this here? Valve close. Because I don't want my blood to go back to the atrium. I want my blood to fully exit the heart. And same thing here. When I push my blood here, and when I push my blood here, these 2 valves will close. Because I don't want this blood to come back in. I only want blood to come in from the atria. These valves, they ensure my blood will go in one way. Right? You guys okay? You guys okay? There should be like 4 or 5 today, but I don't know where's the rest of them. Okay, so Zisan, are you okay? How are you okay? This is a very technical part lah. The heart is a very technical part. It takes a while to adapt lah. Right? So we'll do exercise later. Okay, we'll do exercise later after we finish the rest of it. Right? So one more thing. I think sometimes your school teacher will tell you this. Your heart, okay, it's not mentioned here. Your heart, okay, by the way, your heart is a muscle. You know this. Your heart is a muscle, and your heart is actually myogenic. Myogenic. What does it mean? That means your heart will beat by itself. Right? Your heart will beat by itself. That means your heart doesn't require your nerve to control. Okay, what do I mean? Every muscle in your body, your bicep, your tricep, whatever muscle that you can control, it is controlled by your brain. It is controlled by your nerve. But your heart, they don't require any nerve. Your heart doesn't need a brain. Your heart can beat by itself. Right? That means if your brain is dead, that means if your brain is dead, your heart can continue working. Right? This is how a coma is like lah. Okay? Coma is when your brain is not functioning, but your heart is still functioning. That's why your heart still doesn't die, because it is still working. Right? Anyway, so this is your heart, This is your heart. And let's go to our blood. Okay, let's go to our blood. Hang on, guys. Let me check the exercise real quick. Okay, let's finish the blood first. Right, anyway, so we finished the heart. Okay, there are 3 parts you need to study. You need to study the heart, the blood, and the blood vessel. The pump, the water, and the pipe. Like I said, your aquarium, let's say you have an aquarium at home. Your aquarium needs 3 things to work. You need a pump, an electric pump. You need water. Of course, your aquarium needs water inside, and you need pipes so that the water can flow. So now we finished the heart. Okay, we finished the pump. Right, like I say, you see here, we finished the pump. Now let's go to the blood, and we'll talk about the vessel later. Right, so okay, this is very easy. Your blood has 2 parts. Your blood has 2 parts, which is the plasma and the blood cells. I don't know whether you guys learned this in school, but here goes. So your blood, okay, this is a test tube. Your blood has 2 parts. The top part, which is yellow in color, this part is yellow in color. This yellow part is called plasma. And then the bottom red part, this is called your blood cells. All right. So I would say this lah. Plasma is like 55%. Blood cell is like 45%. So almost equal lah. Almost equal. All right. You might say, sir, what is plasma? What is plasma? Plasma is the watery part of your blood. Right. So as you can see here, the plasma contains water and dissolved substances, right? Like sugar, glucose, amino acid, urea, mineral salt, hormones, and others, right? You see, your blood has blood cells and others, right? The and others part would be your blood plasma, right? So I don't know whether you guys had this before. Okay, have you guys gotten a paper cut before? Have you guys gotten a paper cut before? Right. If sometimes the paper cut is not too deep, if the cut is not too deep, you don't see blood coming out. Can repair muscle? Yeah, they can. Wow, how did you know? Right. So sometimes when you cut yourself not deep enough, you don't see blood coming out. You see like a clear fluid. Something that looks like water, but it looks slightly yellow. That's the plasma. That is the plasma. So your plasma is like this water surrounding inside your blood. So they contain all these stuff, okay? All these stuff, okay? All the tapalang stuff, all the line stuff, it's all inside your plasma. All right, and then your blood cells they are okay. You have 3 types of blood cells here. You have your red blood cell, as the name says, they are red, and you have your white blood cell, as the name says, they are white, and you have your platelets. All right, guys, do you remember? I don't know whether you learned this. What's the function of red blood cell? And what is the function of white blood cell? Sore, muscle sore. Which part of it is sore? If that's the case, right, that might be muscle tightness or overuse, or shoulder shoulder How do you sit a lot every day? If you sit a lot oh, tendonitis oh, which tendonitis? Which tendonitis? I used to have bicep tendonitis. I used to have bicep tendonitis. Okay, you see your shoulder has 4 tendons. Okay, then that's not muscular sore already. That's tendon soreness. Okay, so your shoulder has 4 muscles. You have your supraspinatus, infraspinatus, teres minor, and subscapularis. So usually, if you have, okay, I've injured my shoulder 3 times lifting weight, so I'm quite familiar with this. Right, so if you get tendonitis, if you get shoulder pain, it's usually one of the following things, okay? It's either number 1, it's tightness. You didn't stretch enough, you didn't warm up enough. Number 2 is overuse. You swam too much, more than your tendons can recover. And number 3 is form. You didn't swim with a correct form. It's one of this, right? It's one of this. If you injured yourself in the gym, it's one of this. Okay, it could be due to tightness, okay, tightness or overuse. Okay, that is weakness or form. So we have to find the reason why, right? Maybe you didn't warm up enough, or maybe you didn't do enough dynamic stretches. Okay, make sure you do some. There are some shoulder warm-up drills that you can do that makes your joint loosen up a little more before you swim. 2 side supra and deltoid. Oh, okay, okay. Hey, if you have tendonitis, if it's serious, you might need ultrasound treatment. All right. And your joint should be, I mean, you are young, your joint should be able to heal. But if after 2 years you're still having tendonitis, then that could be something wrong already. Okay, that could be something wrong already. You can do some stretches. You can do some stretches. Okay, some resistant acupuncture. I don't believe in acupuncture. Because scientifically speaking, it does nothing more than placebo, right? Turmeric, curcumin, yeah, it helps too. It helps too. It helps with inflammation. Oh, this one I know because I used to take that too. As in curcumin, right? The turmeric extract. That helps too. Oh, that thing is very good. That thing is very good for your heart too. Maybe you can try some drills. Okay, resistant band. Resistant band. Do you have resistant band? You can do some. You can get some resistant band from Shopee and do some of the stretches. Okay, let's say I'm pulling a resistant band, and then you pull like this. This is to warm up your supra. Okay, this is warm up the supra. Okay. You know what's the YTWL? YTWL. You go and search this on YouTube. It's a very good shoulder exercise. Very good shoulder warm up. Y means you do this. You see? You see my hand looks like a Y. Okay, so you pull resistant band with your hands. You pull it like this. So this is Y. And then W looks like this. And you see my hand looks like a W. Okay, W. And then T looks like, if I'm not mistaken, like this. This is T. Okay, T. And then this is L. L. My hand looks like an L. So for each letter, you do like 20 reps before you do your swimming, right? Because I do this before my weightlifting too. Okay, okay, okay. You try with the resistant band first. Maybe it's the weakness because I used to have this until I do this YTWL. It helps much better for my shoulder, right? But it takes time, It takes time, because when you're doing all these, you're strengthening your 4 tendons here, and it takes time for them to strengthen. Okay, I mean you incorporate this lah. It's harmless one. You just buy A resistor band costs you like what, 20 bucks. Okay, you can just find a bar, attach your band to it, and you do this YTWL. Maybe 20 reps, you do 20 for each. Okay, see you want to do one set or two sets, and it makes it better. Okay, speaking from experience here, so I know a thing or two about shoulder because I've injured it so many times. Right, anyway, so let's move on. So your blood cells, remember what is your red blood cell for? Do you remember? I read a lot lah. I read a lot on I'm an exercise geek ah. I'm an exercise geek lah. So that's why I teach science. Okay, that's why I teach science because this is like my passion. Okay, I wanted to be a doctor, but yeah, luckily I didn't. It's a long journey. Right. Anyway, so you remember what is a white blood cell? Oh yeah, so that's very good. So your red blood cell is to carry oxygen, very good. And your white blood cell, they are for your immune system. Okay, your immune system. And your platelets, they are for your blood clotting. Remember? Remember? Zihan, are you there? Are you there? Please let me know if you're there. Okay, so these are the three things you need to know. Okay, so red blood cell here. Okay, by the way, your red blood cell looks like this. Okay, they look like can you see the groove in the middle? There's a dimple in the middle, right? So the red blood cells look red due to the presence of a red pigment called hemoglobin, right? Have you guys learned this? Have you guys learned this? Do you know what's the hemoglobin? Right? You know lah. Hemoglobin is a protein. Okay, hemoglobin is a protein that helps you carry oxygen. All right, it helps you carry oxygen. Okay, good. Right. So this hemoglobin, right? This hemoglobin, right? They are actually a protein with an ion attached to it. Iron, as in 铁, as in Versi, as in the iron you use for your gate. You know, your at your house you have gates and grills, right? So your hemoglobin is made from iron. This is the reason why, okay, this is the reason why your blood smells like rust. Have you noticed this? Have you noticed this? Sometimes you cut yourself and you smell your blood. Oh my, it smells like blood. It smells like iron. Well, that's the reason, because your red blood cell is supposed to smell like iron, right? Because you might say, sir, why do we need this iron for? This iron is very good in pulling oxygen. Okay, in pulling oxygen. That's why your hemoglobin is very good in pulling oxygen because of the iron. Blood also tastes bitter, yeah, because of the metallic taste, right? So in the lungs, hemoglobin combines with oxygen to form oxyhemoglobin, right? Oxyhemoglobin. So when this hemoglobin, it takes oxygen in, I become oxyhemoglobin, right? So guys, you know your blood saturation level, the SpO2 level. I don't know whether you guys know this, because of this COVID thing. Your mom bought this oximeter. Do you have this at home? This oximeter, the thing that clips your finger. Do you have this? It clips on your finger, and it's supposed to read 95% and above. Yes, right. What does it mean? That means your blood is 90 something percent saturated with oxygen. You have 90. Okay, let's say yours is 98. You have 98% oxyhemoglobin. 98% of your blood is oxyhemoglobin. Why? Because you're not doing anything. You are not doing anything. You are resting. When you are resting, when you're not doing anything, you're not using oxygen. Right? You're not using oxygen. So your oxy level, your oximeter level should be 98%, 95 and above. Right? If you're not doing anything, if let's say you're sitting still, you're not doing anything, and you clip it on your finger, it says 80. If it says 80, then that could be a problem. Okay, drop to why? Did you exercise when it drops? Okay, when your oxy level drops, when your oxy level drops to 80 something, you will notice because you start breathing heavily. You will start panting. You'll be like, when it drops to 80 something, you will start breathing heavily already. Okay, so if you are resting and if this thing drops, most likely it's because of your most likely it's because of your heart or your lungs. Wow, why is it 40 something? What's wrong? Why is your heart rate so low? Right. So if if your lungs have, okay, let's say if you have COVID, then if the COVID is very serious, then your SpO2 level will drop. It will be 80 something. Okay, no, this is last year. Carl, I think if that's the problem, right? Maybe you need to get your heart checked. Maybe you have arrhythmia. Maybe you have arrhythmia. Because you know what is arrhythmia? You know what is cardiac arrhythmia? That means some people they have irregular heartbeat. The heartbeat sometimes will go fast, sometimes will go slow, fast, and slow, fast, and slow. It's like a genetic thing, right? Especially nighttime, okay? Do you have I mean, when it's sleeping, it's normal lah, but to drop it so low is not normal lah. Do you have any family heart problem? If you have, then you might need to get it checked out. No, okay, okay. I mean, guys, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not trying to scare you. I have a student. Okay, few years ago, I have a student who was 17 years old. Okay, this student of mine lah. Okay, his name was Adrian. Okay, so Adrian was 17 years old. He was supposed to take SPM that year. You know SPM lah, right? It's like your IGCSE O levels, right? That means the last exam of your high school. So he was 17, and okay, very healthy kid, no heart problems whatsoever. Okay, very healthy, no family history of heart problem whatsoever. And suddenly, one day he went to sleep, and he didn't wake up since. Okay, he didn't wake up since. The heart just stops for no reason. Okay, so why is it like that? Nobody knows, right? Because you see, your heart, there are thousands of reasons to go wrong, right? It could be due to your heart suddenly the nerve is not working, the heart just stops working one day, or the valve is just defective, it stops working one day, or your blood vessel decides to rupture one day and you die. Right, guys? I'm not I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not trying to make you paranoid, but uh, I mean, he has no symptom. That's the thing. He has no symptom whatsoever. He was feeling fine all the time, right? But suddenly the heart just stops from it. He just had a cardiac arrest one day and he died. Okay, he died. Right? So I mean, it's a very slim chance of that happening, but that doesn't mean it's zero. Okay, so yeah, if guys, if you're really paranoid, if you're very paranoid, get a cardiogram. Okay, get an ECG. Get an ECG. You know what's an ECG? Basically, is they put two sticker here. They put two sticker here, and then they observe your heart rate for the whole day. Just by observing the graph, just by observing the chart, they will know what's wrong with you. Okay. Usually, if you go for this thing, they will ask you to wear the heart device for one whole day. Okay, for one whole day, you have a thing attached to your chest, and then after one day collecting data from your heart, they will analyze your graph, see what's wrong with it. Right? I mean, it's not cheap. Okay, this thing is not cheap. But it tells a lot of story about your heart. Okay, whether you have an arrhythmia, okay, that means your heart is not, at a very okay, guys, your heart is like a metronome. You know what's a metronome? You guys learn the instrument. Your heart is like a metronome. So sometimes this metronome for no reason it will start speeding up. Okay, for no reason the thing will start to speed up, and sometimes for no reason it will start to slow down. All right, so if you really want to get to the bottom of everything, you want to know whether you are healthy or not, this is what you do, right? You should get an ECG. Okay, I mean there are many things else you can do with your heart. You can get an ultrasound, you can get a calcium score, you can get there are many things you can test for your heart. Okay, I'm just telling you. Okay, I'm just telling you. So anyway, uh, oh, okay, you have asthma. Okay, maybe it plays a part there too. Okay, you see, this is what we call complication. This is what we call complication. Because if okay, let's say if you go to a cardiologist, okay, if you go to a cardiologist and if they ask you, if you tell them your problem, they will usually follow up with this question: do you have any heart or lung problem before or right now? Now you see, so if you have asthma, that could be a complication. That could be a complication. I'm not saying it is, but it could be. All right, so if you are feeling paranoid, you can go to a doctor and check it out. Okay, anyway, so this is your SpO2. This is your SpO2. Right? It should not drop to 80 for no reason. Unless you're okay, when you're exercising, when you are, let's say you're being chased by a dog, okay, a dog suddenly chases you, then this thing will drop to maybe 70-80% because you're using oxygen like mad right now. Okay, it's like you are stepping on the pedal in your car, you're stepping on the pedal, you're asking your car to go faster. Same thing, your body is like an engine. When you force your muscle to work more, you are using oxygen. So this SpO2 will drop. Your saturation level will drop, which is normal. Okay, which is normal. So if you're exercising, it's like 70, 80 something. Okay, if it drops like 60, wow, then you are really running out of oxygen. Okay, so this oxyhemoglobin causes oxygenated blood to look bright red, right? You see, iron, when they react with oxygen, okay, come, let's test your general knowledge. What happens when iron reacts with oxygen? When your iron gate, okay, this is really simple, right? When your iron gate, you don't paint your gate, when you don't paint your gate, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? You get iron oxide, right? What is it called? What is iron oxide called? In general term, iron oxide, yes, is called rust. Right? So when your blood turns oxygenated, they turn bright red, which is the color of rust, because rust is like brown red, right? So oxygenated looks bright red because they have oxygen, right? So technically speaking, oxygenated blood is rusted blood. Your blood rusted when you get oxygen, technically speaking. Okay, and then when your oxyhemoglobin travels around the body, okay, so now I will release the oxygen to your body cells that requires oxygen. Let's say now my red blood cell goes around the body, and my red blood cell sees, oh, there's a muscle cell there, and this muscle cell needs oxygen. I will give the oxygen to my muscle. Now I turn back to dark red again. I will turn from iron oxide back to iron, so my blood unrusted. You see where am I going with this? My blood rusted first. Now it became unrusted. Because I gave the oxygen to my muscle. So what do I do now? I have no more oxygen, right? I will go back to the heart. Like I said just now, I'll go back to the heart, and then I'll go to the lungs to get rusted again, to get oxygen again, to be rusted again. So now I'm become rusted. I go back to the heart again. I go to my body cell, and I give the oxygen to my body cell again. So this thing just keeps repeating and repeating and repeating. Guys, think about it. Get touched by rust, our body will reject. Oh, you mean you mean if you touch rusty object, you will get seizure? Is it the one? Is it the one? Okay. Uh, yeah. Okay, that's a very good question. Right. So, if you have a wound, okay, if you cut yourself, and if you are cut by something rusty, right? You see, if this is a rusty metal, if this is a rusty metal, okay, if this is a rusty metal, there's a special bacteria that likes to live on it. Okay, there's a special type of bacteria that likes to live on it. We call it a tetanus bacteria. You know what is tetanus? You know what is tetanus? You are vaccinated against this when you are a kid. So when you cut by something rusty, when the tetanus go into your body, you will get tetanus. As in Mandarin, we call it 破伤风. I mean, if you speak Mandarin, right? So this tetanus is actually life-threatening. That's why you need the vaccine. That's why if you get cut by something rusty, if you don't have the vaccine anymore, right? Because the vaccine doesn't work forever, you have to go and get an injection. We call it a tetanus shot. We call it a tetanus shot. That's why if you get cut by something rusty, please go to the clinic and get your tetanus shot. Because if not, you get infected, you will get seizure. Right? So it's nothing to do with the rust, it's to do with the bacteria. That's why our body reject the rust. Not we don't reject the rust, we reject the bacteria. It's the bacteria that makes us sick. Okay, so anyway, so now my oxyhemoglobin reverts into hemoglobin, and now the blood becomes dark red. Right now, my hemoglobin is ready to receive another oxygen molecule in the lungs. Right, so now I'm like reset already. I'm free to go and carry another oxygen. Right, so this is what happened. You see, this is the lungs. Can you see dark red? Can you see dark red? This is deoxygenated without oxygen. Now in the lungs, I take oxygen. Okay, now in the lungs, I take oxygen. Now I become oxygenated. I have oxygen on me already. So now I will go back to the heart. Now I go to my body cells. I see this is the body cell. I go from bright red. Now I give away the oxygen. So I turn from oxygenated to deoxygenated. Now I become dark red again. I have to go back to the lungs and get oxygen again. Okay, so you guys okay with this? You guys okay with this? Very simple stuff. So, to put it simply, your red blood cell determines your stamina. You get what I mean? So, okay, what makes your stamina good? Two things. Number one is your lungs, which we will learn in next chapter. It's about the number of alveolus you have. How many bubbles you have in your lungs. That's number one. Number two is your red blood cell. The more red blood cells you have, the better your stamina becomes. All right. So let's say you're a couch potato. You are a couch potato. You don't exercise. You have, not to say low lah, you have normal level of red blood cell because your body doesn't need it. Your body doesn't need extra because you don't exercise also. But now when you start exercising, like you see, Carl, you swim, right? Stamina is like, and endurance is like important for you, right? So now, as you start exercising, your body needs to adapt to this extra load of exercise. So your body will start making more red blood cell. Your body will start producing more red blood cell. Okay, so this is why if you go and test an athlete, maybe they have like 50% of red blood cell instead of 45. They have like 5% more because they have more stamina. All right, so which brings me to one more thing. Okay, guys, have you heard of a drug called EPO? Erythropoietin something. I don't know what does it stand for. Basically, it's called EPO. Okay, EPO. Are there erythropoietin? What is it? Okay, basically, what is this? Okay, this is a performance enhancing drug. Do you know what's a PED? Do you know what is a PED? Do you know what is a performance enhancing drug? Basically, it's the drug you take to make you perform better in sports. Basically, cheating. All right, basically cheating. And this is what we call doping. You guys heard of this before? Have you guys heard of what is doping? Have you guys heard of what is doping? Like, if Carl, let's say you swim, right? I'm sure you have heard of WADA. WADA, World Anti-Doping Agency. Right? Okay, so doping basically is cheating. Right? So what is EPO? What is EPO? EPO is the thing you inject into yourself that forces your body to make more red blood cell. Right? Okay, by the way, where is red blood cell made? All blood cells are made in your bone marrow. You know where is the bone marrow? Your thigh bone. This is your thigh. Okay, inside this bone here, inside the bone, there's something called bone marrow. Yes, yeah, the tibia too, right? So when you inject yourself with EPO, you are forcing your body to make more red blood cell. When you have more red blood cell, you have better stamina, right? You have better stamina. So this is doping. So EPO is bad. EPO is bad because this is cheating. You see, if I put EPO into myself, I will get better red blood cell. I will get more red blood cell. I'll get better stamina. Yeah, you die, you get stroke. Okay, that's the thing. Right, so EPO is very common among cyclists, or any endurance athlete. Like if let's say you participate in a triathlon, you're a triathlete, you do long mileage swimming or running, or you're a marathoner, you're a cyclist, okay, things like that, EPO is like your friend. Okay, but just make sure you don't get caught lah. Right? Okay, you might say, okay, about this EPO too much thing, if you take too much EPO, if you have too much red blood cell, okay, by the way, next time when you go and do, I mean, of course you don't use EPO lah. I mean, you're like what, 15, 14? You wouldn't use EPO right now anyway. Right. Anyway, so how do they know if you're using EPO? Very easy. Okay, guys, have you done a blood test before? Have you done a blood test before? There is something on the blood test that says hematocrit. Okay, hematocrit. Yes, urine test also correct. Okay, so this hematocrit, you see hemoglobin, hematocrit, hematocrit. Okay, this hematocrit, normal people is around 45%. If I'm not mistaken lah, right? If I'm not mistaken, so 45%. If you're like 46 or 47, still acceptable. But if you're like 50 or 50 and above, that's a bit sus already. Why is your hematocrit so high? Why? Okay, what is hematocrit? Basically, it's your red blood cell. It's the measurement of your hemoglobin. Why are you having such a high hemoglobin? That is usually a big telltale sign that you are cheating. Because normal people, healthy people wouldn't have this high of a hematocrit. If yours is like super high, that means you are caught, right? You are caught red-handed, you have been cheating, my friend. Can it be trained? No, I mean, okay, you see, like male hormones, you know you have testosterone, right? You know you have testosterone, right? Like, okay, in terms of testosterone, we measure it using the unit of nanogram per deciliter. Okay, nanogram per deciliter. Normal males, you're like you're a guy, right? Okay, you guys are going through puberty, right? Okay, so the normal range would be 200 to 1000. Like you're a teenager now, you should be around 900, 8 to 900. Your testosterone is very high because you're turning into a man, right? But if I pull you out and I test you, if your testosterone level is 3000, do you think they accept your explanation by saying, oh, I'm just born with 3000? Do you think that's possible? No, no, you are just cheating at this point, right? It's like in an exam, you score 100 every time. Does it mean it's impossible? No, but you know what's up, all right? Have you ever scored 100 in every exam? I mean, technically it's possible, but realistically speaking, it's not, right? There's some hanky-panky stuff going on, right? So if they test your hematocrit, come on, who are you trying to fool? Am I right? So let's say you are one of the participant, you're one of the athlete, you are in second place. You're in second place. You are beaten by a guy that has like 50 over hematocrit. And then this guy comes and tell you, oh, don't worry about it, bro. I'm just born with more red blood cell. I just train more than you. Do you accept this kind of bullshit explanation? You just got robbed of your champion, of your first place. Do you buy his explanation? No, you wouldn't, right? So if you are caught by WADA, that's a serious trouble, because usually you'll be banned. You'll be banned. It depends on how serious the doping is lah. You could be banned for 5 years, you could be banned for 10 years, you could be banned for life. I mean, come on lah, guys. If you are banned for 5 years, that's basically half of your career gone, right? If you're banned for 10 years, you can kiss goodbye to your career. Your swimming career or whatever career is down the drain, right? If you're caught at 20, they ban you for 10 years, then you are 30 already. Do you think you are able to compete at 30? No, you're close to retirement already. Okay, that means your career is basically gone. Uh I mean, yeah, as long as you take injection, that's okay. Guys, do you know there's another type of doping? There's another type of doping. Okay. This was very common in the 90s. Very common in the 90s. Okay. If you say, sir, I don't want to take EPO, is there another natural way to enhance my performance? Okay, this is not natural. Okay, what do they do? Okay, let's say I'm a cyclist. I'm a cyclist. What do I do? 3 weeks before, let's say 3 weeks, 3 weeks before my competition, I draw maybe 500 ml of blood out from my body. Okay, I draw blood out. Okay, I draw 500 ml. And then I put this blood into my fridge. Okay, I put this blood into my fridge. So now it's like donating blood lah. It's like donating blood. Now my body has 500 ml less blood. So my red blood cell, my body will try to make more red blood cell. So 3 weeks later, my body will be back to normal. I have normal amount of red blood cell. So what do I do now? Remember the 500 ml I took out? Before the night of the competition, I put that 500 back in. I inject this extra red blood cell back into my body. So now I have extra red blood cell. This is the poor man EPO. If you have no money for EPO, this is the method to do it. You draw blood out first, let your body replace the blood, okay? And then before the competition, you put the blood back in. So this is also another type of doping, right? I mean, you can be caught also because when they test you, your hematocrit is still high, right? So guys, let me tell you this, these methods are actually quite dangerous. Okay, quite dangerous. Why? When you have too much red blood cell, it's a very bad thing. Because you know why? Red blood cell, when you have too much of it, when you have too many of it, they will start bumping into each other. When they start bumping into each other, you will start having, sorry, there's a mosquito here, right? You will start having blood clot. You will start having blood clot. When you have blood clot inside your blood vessel, that's a huge disaster. This is how you get heart attack. Okay, this is how you get a heart attack. Heart attack happens when you have blood clot inside your heart. Okay, so you increase your risk of heart attack, you increase your risk of stroke. Yes, this is a very tough process. Okay, so you see the risk that people are willing to go through, right? But the medal is all it matters, right? You are just taking a few months worth of risk, but your glory is forever. Okay. Okay. Hey, guys, do you know who is Lance Armstrong? Do you know who is Lance Armstrong? The cyclist, Lance Armstrong. You know this guy? You know this guy? He was a legend. Okay, he was a legend. You know what's the Tour de France? You know what's the Tour de France? The most prestigious cycling competition, right? He was a legend. He set records after records after records. He just couldn't be beaten. Okay, he just couldn't be beaten. And he was caught doping for many, many years. All right. And he got all his titles stripped off. Okay, huge disaster. Okay, you go and you look at this. Lance Armstrong stripped of 7 Tour de France titles. Okay, it's already very hard to win one. He has 7, right? All of it got stripped off because he was caught doping for many, many. He wasn't caught for many years. He wasn't caught for many, many years until I think he came out and admitted, right? Something like that. Like he came out and told people that he has done doping for many, many years. And needless to say, shit hit the fan lah. Right? It was very, very serious. He now he's not known as a very good cyclist. He's only known for the doping. He is forever known as the cheater. Right, guys? I'm not saying that other athletes are clean. Maybe other athletes they use it too, but they are not caught. So don't be surprised if someday in the future, somewhere in the future, they say, oh, this athlete was caught cheating for many, many years, right? Everyone was disappointed, everyone will be disappointed. Well, you can't blame, right? Because when money is involved, when glory is involved, Michael Phelps does, you don't think Michael Phelps does? I don't believe it too, but I'm not surprised if he does. I'm not surprised if he does, right? I mean, Michael Phelps was really good, right? He won like what? I think in the London or Beijing Olympic, he won like 3 or 4 medals just by himself, right? He was that good. So if you say that he has done some kind of doping in the past, I wouldn't be surprised, right? I wouldn't be. They used to think Lance Armstrong is clean too. You see? Okay, you know why was Lance Armstrong not caught? Because of a series of bribery, and he just knew when to avoid the test. He went around it. He knew how the system works. He basically beat the system, right? So how sure are you that Cristiano Ronaldo didn't take it? LeBron James didn't take it. Michael Phelps didn't take it, right? Usain Bolt didn't take it, right? They are like the top of the top, right? I mean, yeah, sure. Even without the doping, they are still world champ as well. They are just that good. But what makes you think that they are 100% clean, right? Because you see, doping like these are okay. Put it this way, guys. Put it this way. Every sport has doping. It's just that they're not caught, right? To think that sports is 100% clean, you're living in a vacuum. You are living in a fantasy land. You're just play pretend, right? It's like pretending that Santa exists, right? Santa doesn't exist, okay? So same goes to sports, right? I mean, just because they're clean doesn't mean they are 100% clean. Maybe they just know how to beat the system, right? I mean, come on lah. You have billions of dollars at stake. You have glory at stake. Don't you think it's natural for you to take something that gives you the edge, right? Do you think The Rock is natural? Guys, you know The Rock, right? You know The Rock, right? Do you think he's natural? He said so. He said he hasn't used steroid in his life. Do you believe it? Do you believe it? Dwayne Johnson, right? Do you believe it? He said he's fully natural. Okay, guys, he's 50 years old. Do you see any 50-year old that looks like this? I'm sure your dad is close to 50. Does your dad look like this? Does any of uncles you know look like this? You tell me. You tell me. Okay? You see, according to him, according to The Rock, you know what he said? He said, oh, I look like this because I exercise a lot. I wake up at 4 a.m. every day to run. Okay? I eat chicken, broccoli, and rice every day. Okay? It's hard work and discipline. We all want to believe that, like, oh, wow, The Rock is really awesome. But think about it. Use your common sense and think. Do you think you will look like this at 50? Without any doping, without any external help? Freak no. Okay, guys, I hate to break your bubbles here, but he is not natural, right? How do I know? I've been in the gym for 12 years. I don't look like this, right? Guys, I'm in my early 30s. Okay, I'm 32 this year. My testosterone is at peak. Okay, when you are 50, your testosterone will be half. Do you think at 50 with half the testosterone, you will look better than you are 20 something? Come on. Okay, so if you think he's natural, I have bad news for you. He's not. Okay, it's just that he cannot come through, he cannot admit this thing, right? Because he has uh yeah, exactly, right? So you must say, sir, how could he lie to us? Because you see, he has billions of dollars of contract. He's sponsored by Under Armour. What would you think Under Armour would do if they discover that he is using steroid? He would lose billions of dollars of business. Not only he would lose it, Under Armour would lose shit tons of business too. So guys, this is you know Chris Evans? You know Chris Evans? Captain America, Captain America, do you think he looked like this naturally? Okay, do you think his body is natural? He had a year to train his body to look like Captain America. Okay, guys, if I offer you this, if I offer you this, 1 year later, you'll be starring in Captain America, and I want you to look at your absolute best. Don't you think you would take some kind of steroids or something to make you better? Right? Guys, it's a multi-million dollar contract. Right? 1 year later, I want you to star in Captain America and I'll pay you $5 million. Do you think you want to do it for natural? Heck no! You will take whatever that's under the sun to make sure you look the best because it's a multi-million dollar contract. When there's money involved, when there's power involved, when there's glory involved, I don't believe this is natural. Okay, so if okay, guys, put it this way, if there's a gun to my head, if there's a gun to my head, is Michael Phelps natural? I would say no. Okay, I would say no. Right? Gun to my head, I still think he's natural. I still think Michael Phelps is natural. But if you were to point a gun to my head, is Michael Phelps natural? I would say no. Okay, I would say most of the top athletes, they have been taking some kind of enhancement without us knowing, right? Maybe not EPO, maybe growth hormones, maybe testosterone, maybe some kind of, some kind of enhancement, some kind of doping. Okay, you never know, right? You never know. Okay, so I hope I make things clear here, right? So this is a red plus. Oh, wow, I'm going I'm going so out of topic today, isn't it? Right. Anyway, guys, I hope you learned something new today. Okay, although I went a little bit out of topic today. Guys, if you have the time, do go home and do the exercise, because by now you should be able to do the hard one. Okay, especially this. Go home and do your exercise, Okay, so do you have any question? Do you have any question? I hope this is interesting enough. Thanks for hearing me blab about performance enhancing drug for like close to 20 minutes. I'm sorry. Okay. Anyway, so I'll stop here lah. I will see you guys the same time next week. Hope you have a wonderful Monday. Okay, so I'll see you next week. Right? So take care. See you and good night. Bye bye. Uh Yeah, sure. If I have the time, yeah, I'll try to. Okay, so anyway, see you. Bye bye.